My name is Lena Walker, I am 27 years old, and this is the story of how my past walked back into my life on the most ordinary day and tried to destroy everything I had built. 3 days ago, I was in my small backyard in a quiet town near Portland, setting up my son's birthday party. Balloons were tied to the fence, a simple cake sat on the table, and my little boy was laughing with frosting all over his fingers. It was supposed to be a normal, happy afternoon. Nothing special. Just love, noise, and safety. But then the gate opened. And the man who left me at 15 walked in like he still belonged there. I hadn't seen him in years. Not once. Not on birthdays, not on school days, not even when I finished college. He was just gone from my life like I had never mattered. And now, on my son's birthday, he stood there smiling like time had erased everything. When I was 15, my parents had already separated. My mother tried her best, but my father slowly disappeared from my life emotionally first, then physically. One night, he told me I needed to figure things out myself because he couldn't handle responsibility anymore. He said it calmly, like he was talking about something small and temporary. But it wasn't temporary. That was the day I stopped being his priority. After that, I lived with a friend's family. They gave me a home when I had nowhere else to go. I finished school while working small part-time jobs, learning how to survive without depending on anyone who might leave. It was hard, but it made me strong in ways I didn't understand at the time. Years passed. I studied social work, built a stable career, and eventually became a counselor helping teenagers who were going through situations similar to what I survived. I met my husband, Daniel, a calm and steady man who never made love feel like something I had to earn. We built a quiet life together. Safe. Stable. Real. And then we had our son, Noah. For 5 years, I believed I had finally left my old life behind. Until that afternoon. At first, I thought maybe I was mistaken when I saw him standing near the balloons. Older, more tired-looking, but still unmistakably him. He even smiled like nothing had happened between us. He looked at my son and said softly, "That must be my grandson." Something inside me froze. Daniel stepped closer to me immediately, sensing something was wrong. I told my son to keep playing, trying not to let panic take over the moment. I didn't want my child's birthday to become a battlefield. My father acted like he was invited. Like he belonged. He talked politely, asked questions, even pretended he had been trying to reach out for years. But every word felt fake. Carefully built to sound normal. Then he asked to talk to me privately. We walked a few steps away from the party. The noise of laughter behind us felt unreal compared to what was about to happen. And then he said it. He needed money. A large amount. He said he was in trouble and that I was successful now, so I should help him because family helps family. At first, I thought it was a joke. Then I realized he was serious. When I didn't respond the way he expected, his tone changed. He started talking about how he had raised me, how he gave me everything, and how I owed him. But the truth was the opposite. I had raised myself for most of my teenage years. Then he added something worse. He said if I refused, he would take legal steps. That was the moment something inside me went completely still. Not emotional. Not scared. Just clear. I told him to leave. 5 minutes. That was all I said. He didn't expect it. He thought I would argue, panic, or break down. Instead, I stood firm. He tried to act confident, like I was being dramatic. He even stepped closer toward the house again, like my boundary didn't matter. That's when Daniel stepped in beside me. And other parents nearby started noticing something was wrong. My father raised his voice, trying to make it look like I was the problem. But the more he spoke, the clearer it became to everyone watching that he wasn't there out of love, he was there out of control and entitlement. When he tried to move past me again, I stopped him. I told him clearly that he was not entering my home and not approaching my child. He got angry and accused me of being disrespectful. But it didn't work the way he thought it would. Because I wasn't that scared 15-year-old anymore. He eventually left the yard, but not before threatening me again, saying I would regret this. The party continued after that, but everything felt different. Like a shadow had passed over something that was supposed to be pure. 2 days later, a letter arrived. It was from a lawyer. My father was claiming I owed him money and threatening a case. The claims were weak, confused, and clearly built on lies, but seeing it in official form still made my stomach drop for a moment. That was when Daniel insisted we contact a lawyer immediately. We met a professional attorney who looked at the situation calmly and said something simple: this was not a real legal case. It was pressure. Nothing more. From that point, everything changed direction. We gathered records from my teenage years, school documents, financial history, witness statements from the family who took me in, and years of proof that I had built my life without his support. Slowly, the truth became stronger than the story he was trying to create. Meanwhile, he kept sending messages, sometimes angry, sometimes trying to sound emotional. But every message only showed the same pattern: control, blame, and manipulation. Then something unexpected happened. People from my past began to confirm pieces of my story. Teachers, neighbors, and even distant relatives remembered how I had been left behind and how I had survived on my own support system. The situation was no longer just personal. It was documented reality. Eventually, the lawyer sent a formal response rejecting all claims and warning against further contact. And then I made another decision. I shared a simple, honest statement online about what had happened. No exaggeration. No emotional attacks. Just truth. The response was immediate. Some people supported me. Some were shocked. Some even admitted they were not surprised because they already knew my father's history of behavior. Soon after, the legal claim collapsed. There was no case. No evidence. Nothing real behind it. The pressure stopped. The calls stopped. The threats stopped. And just like that, the man who once abandoned me disappeared again, this time not because I was powerless, but because I refused to be. Life slowly returned to normal. My son continued growing up happy and unaware of the chaos that had briefly touched his world. My home became peaceful again. But something inside me had changed permanently. I stopped believing that blood alone creates family. I stopped feeling guilty for protecting my peace. And I understood something very clearly. Sometimes the people who leave you don't return to fix anything. They return to take something again. And the strongest thing you can do is not let them. Because in the end, family is not about who gave you life. It is about who never left you alone in it.